If you stumble across the channel, it's probably because somebody hit that like button before. And for those
Ooh la la.
Good afternoon, everyone. Captain Lane speaking, and wishing you a safe travels to your crypto destination. For those of you traveling with mice, please securely position your cursor over the like button below and right-click with your favorite finger. For those with touchscreen devices, we ask that you gently press the
Greetings to the crypto community. We are pseudo-anonymous. We are here to smash that like button. We believe this content needs to reach more people like you. We are watching. We are listening. Most importantly, we are liking and subscribing. We are pseudo-anonymous. Expect us.
Hey, Kimmy, baby, I had a book over here in this drawer. You see that?
You mean a little black book? Oh, honey, I cleaned out those drawers in that whole room and made a big donation to Goodwill. But don't worry, we can get you another one.
Oh, hell no. You're never going to believe what happened to me today at the Goodwill. I found a book of seed phrases, honey. I can get those hair transplants now. Oh.
Go best friend. That's my best friend. Go best friend. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. Go best friend. That's my best friend. Go best friend. That's my best friend. That's my best friend.
If you stumble across the channel, it's probably because somebody hit that like button before. And for those of you who hit that like button, comment, subscribe, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much. Well, it's all right now because anything you do, well, that's all right. Oh, baby, that's all right.
Some call him the Nostradamus of crypto. His charting skills have discovered new entire galaxies. He once was engaged to Satoshi Nakamoto's oldest sister. He is the most interesting trader in the world. And today we asked him, what do you do when the market crashes?
I buy more. And I also subscribe to Road Dog Crypto. Trade wisely, my friends.
out there and hitting that like button, I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, hello, one person who watches my private membership videos. Glad to have you here. So, I'm putting this out there. I'm not putting it out there public. I mean, this is just something I've noticed, and the things just kind of crossed to me. I was coming up with these dates with this little technique that I'm using with WD Gann. It's an experimental thing, but it's kind of cool because he was the one trader in history that could square price and time, you know, religiously. He could actually put a price with the time and date. Now, he had some very convoluted methods to do this, and it's a wild rabbit hole to try to learn his systems and everything like that, but it's kind of picking up what I can, adding to the toolbox is my approach, and that's what I'm doing, because it's a rabbit hole to go down what he had, but it was amazing stuff that he put together using sacred geometry and some other things. An interesting man nonetheless, but there's also another interesting man named Bernard Baruch, that was also a U.S. financier that helped out in World War II. He said, "Show me the charts and I will tell you the news." And that's a saying that you hear a lot in crypto, and I agree, because over time, since I started learning TA and everything, you will see signs in the charts of something going to happen, and then you get the explanation why a few days later through the news. Or maybe a little bit later that day even, on the news. So it can predict things. It's really uncanny how the charts kind of reveal things. And that's something that's been noted for years and years. And this guy helped pull the U.S. out of a difficult situation I was reading about over here. He was an American financier and statesman. After amassing a fortune in the New York Stock Exchange, he impressed President Woodrow Wilson by managing the nation's economic mobilization. It was World War I, I said World War II. As chairman of the War Industries Force, he also advised Wilson during the Paris Peace Conference. So, important guy with an important message there that I think we should pay attention to. And he also had some other things there to say. And why am I bringing that up? Because I think there may be a possible Black Swan event that the charts are kind of pointing out. I didn't connect the dots until the day when I saw, shoot, a hurricane's supposed to hit that day too, right, in Florida. That might be it. He says, have an opinion on what the market should do, but don't decide what the market will do. And so don't want to decide and say definite this is going to happen or anything like that. But we want to look at these warning signs when they present themselves. And I just felt the need to share that with my community. And so here's my ideas. I'm not trying to create any kind of FUD, but it may be something we need to pay attention to. And I did this using circles. This is a way to square price. It's kind of an easier method than trying to go through all the complicated square of nines and stuff like that. And it does, I'm not putting a price with time per se, or using, trying to do that or trying to predict where we're going to be that day. Although, it's happened before, and it freaks me out when it does, but it's happened to me a couple of times before using some of his techniques. Nail time and price a few times for me. So I don't know. It's all still new and to me, and still learning it. But here's the basic premise: is that drawing circles, and I do it from high to lows, and I think I'm figuring out something there that if I'm drawing them from high to lows, a lot of times it will help me figure out that next high. If I draw them from lows to high, a lot of times it will help me figure out that next bottom. Those kind of things. Not written in stone, but it seems to have that effect, so I'm paying attention to those ideas. But just taking this area up here, and we look at the tangent lines, but at the edges of the circles, you draw a vertical line. And I mean, there's some finessing to this. You got to kind of fine tune this idea and some other stuff. But there should be some kind of significant event right around the times of both sides of these circles. And over here, it was a high before we came down, and then we went up. And we could probably find this move with another circle somewhere else. Probably this one right here would tell us, or this one over here would tell us. But anyway, that's the basic theory of it. So I've got a few circles up here. And here we had this bottom to this high. Now this one gave us this as the bottom here on Monday, August 5th. Now I'm doing this in retrospect. I didn't call out that day, but I did get July 5th using one of his methods. and it was kind of freaky, you know. We actually hit our bottoms and started turning around. Reversal. I called a reversal there with his method as a test thing, and it played out, and that was kind of freaky. But look over here, and this was our last high point in the market right here at that tangent line. So to me, there's something to this. I'm seeing a pattern emerge with this, just using this simple little system. I don't think you can just sit there and trade, but I think it's a good chance to kind of come up with some days where something might happen, right? So if we follow the logic with this idea from August 5th, our square in price and time takes us over to this date of Tuesday, August 8th. And I meant to do this earlier, but I didn't. Forgive me. But let me pull up the hurricane dates. I did not notice this until it didn't dawn on me until today. I was in the Telegram group and I was like, "Oh crap, that could be it. That's all we need." I mean, if it aligns. So if this idea, so it's Hurricane Milton, and it's scheduled to hit on the 8th. I found that out today. So kind of crazy. Let's see if we can get it. Milton's sustained winds reach 80 miles an hour, steady rapid stream. Now, I don't know if it's so much that the Black Swan event will be necessary the hurricane. I think it's more in how our current administration is managing, or rather mismanaging, this hurricane. And there are a lot of reports out there that are disturbing. And, you know, to be truly transparent, maybe that's forming a bias on my part. I don't know. But I mean, the charts are saying what they say, but maybe my interpretation has some bias for the news I've heard. But FEMA is not allowing people to help each other, to do what we've always done in America and other countries around the world. Just our own humanitarian instincts is to help each other in need. They are threatening people, demanding that they do not do that, or they will arrest them. Guns drawn. Stop what you're doing, I'll shoot and kill you if you do not comply to my orders. That kind of enforce behind it is what they're coming up against. And there are a lot of, the donation groups and humanitarian organizations that are having to outskirt the federal government to get aid to these people and break laws doing it, or break, it's not a law, break their policies or whatever they're trying to enforce. It sounds illegal as hell to me. So FEMA has money for emergencies, but they've been using it on the immigration thing, making sure that they're paying for their housing and this and that and food and whatnot. That money should have never been taken out of FEMA. It's Mayorkas ahead of it, and personally, I think the dude should be put in prison. He should be criminally charged for how he's handling this. These bureaucrats need some kind of... they need to answer for the things that they do that blatantly go against Congress, what Congress has established and what's been established in our Constitution. And America's just going crazy. But so I think it's more the political outcome that will happen with this, and how FEMA's, because they have no money to help, and they're refusing to let people who can have the resources to help them. And I did post something on Twitter. I don't mean to get a political on this, but I found, Elon Musk tweeted something out, and then I had a repost from it. And so I did repost, if I can get to mine, a comment for somebody who when there was trouble in the Florida Keys, they had to go up against the government and FEMA to do that, to get notifications over there. And that was kind of concerning. Elon's got a lot of opinions here lately, but I did repost that here. Yeah. This really, that was opening my eyes to a lot of things here too. And they're saying they wouldn't they had all these goods to give to people that needed it back when things hit in Florida. I forget when that happened. Another hurricane on the Keys. And they would not allow help to go there to the Keys to help those people. And their reasoning for saying that these products, and for not taking the donations and everything, the products are not on their approved vendor list. There's a whole money-making finagle thing going on with our government, and it is not helping the people. It's helping corporations, and it's hurting people. It's killing people is what it's doing. So I'm seeing some dire results from some of the decisions and mismanagement of some of our crises that we have in here. They never let a crisis go late. So this is not supposed to be a political thing, but that ties into what what I'm seeing on the charts, man. If this is true and some move will happen, now this, I'm just going from bottoms to tops and hopefully trying to find a bottom. Can that be it? So I've got two scenarios. I don't know for sure, but one of them is really good and one of them is really bad. But if I use my other techniques, like my moving averages that I got here, it suggests we're going to get rejected off this 200. If I go by my trend lines, it suggests that at best, we can come up here to these areas if I can draw something. Maybe get past the 200, but then we got this area right here at 60. What is this? Our top area here. 66. So this trend line, we can face rejection where we broke the trend line or maybe even ride it up. Okay, so it is possible. It is possible. So the trend line would be rejection. So maybe we could get a big boost, but it would be a fake out, in my opinion, judging by this. And then, might go up to 70 and then just start crashing down. Those are two scenarios that I'm looking at that seem to be the most likely. Or if a disaster hits and they freak out, and maybe it's, a lot worse than they anticipated. I don't know. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's headed there. 80-mile-an-hour winds, and it's growing and growing. If we come up to that day, Tuesday, and then drop. Those are three scenarios I'm looking for. And I'm estimating where those prices could be, and I can only use what I'm familiar with because, I can't get into all these angles and planetary angles and all these other fancy the squares and nines right now. I don't have as good of a grasp on that, and I don't think many people do. It's a great rabbit hole to go under, but, we got a trend line going right here. It touches candle bodies. I think it touches candle body here, touches candle body. There's a highly good chance that this will be near support 52,000. That's lower than what I had at 55. Although we do have an honorable mention if we follow this trend line down here, where in this scenario, price would just be coming down to retest that trend line and could bounce, and we'll just go on a merry little way and recover. That could be happening. So that's a concern for me. Now, it was one thing to do this on Bitcoin, but I didn't just do it on Bitcoin. I also did it on Caspa. I've got to tweak her down and get her back aligned here again. And Caspa, see, I had a different... It's hard to do this on TradingView because it skews everything. So let me see if we can get everything back in line here. Oh, I don't see it. I don't see exactly how I had it lined up just yet. Let's see. Let me zoom out. They did overlap a bit. Oh, okay. Are we getting there? Are we getting there? Yeah. There. I had circles within this. Okay, you're at the circle within this. Here we go. I think we got it. I think we're getting it. Yes. That was either you or this is you. Yes, this is it right here. Okay, this is it. It took a minute. Oh, don't do that. Okay. See, it's kind of tricky to do here. I mean, Gann would do all this kind of stuff on paper, and he didn't have to worry about things getting skewed or getting out of scale or anything. So I've got this. This is the Tuesday, October 8th. This is from this circle here. This is a high to a low. So if anything, that one could be given a drop just on this one. This is the August 8th. I've also got some other dates. So I've got the 14th. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's say if we come up here and on Caspa, and maybe it goes to 16.5, or maybe it doesn't. The moving averages are right in that area too. The circle tangent lines, a lot of times you will see price will respect the areas of these circles. And so, what if there's a big drop down to like 11.5 cents or this area, 11.8? 11.7. I've got a 618 fib. I also use my fibs to get us. This is the extent of the move that we can get from here, and that's down to 11 and a half cents. And this is also a 618 Fibonacci at 16 and a half cents. So we got a range here that we could fall in, and it's all within the circle too. So I've got another date for this circle, and this is the one that will measure. Let me get on it. Clicky, clicky, clicky. This is going from this low to this high, so hopefully, you know, it will target a low for us. It did target. Did it get anything over here? It's not matching up as great over here, but so they get in an area, so we got to see. But it shows that there might be a possibility of a bounce back on the 15th, about a week later. So maybe things start getting it straightened out, and it's all a bunch of fear, and everybody kind of realizes, oh, maybe we'll recover, and then maybe we can start working our way back up. But it looks like there might be a possibility to see a lower low out of Caspa, a big scary drop down to 11 and a half cents. Kind of scary because that's a lower low than what we had over here. So I mean, Caspa does look like it can make a lower low. I don't know why. You know, that's just what I'm getting. So I take that into account as something. Caspa's got a trend line here, so maybe we should account for that. If it's strong enough not to break that trend line, then coming back to the bottom of 14 might be the guy to go with. So we got that idea for Caspa, but it's showing some confluence with the same date and time schedules here, right? Then we got some other guys hanging around about the end of October. Some other things we might have to look at in there, but those are some dates that are coming up with this strategy, and it's in confluence, right? Then we got total 3, which I've done before, and I also came up with that same date, Tuesday, August 8th. So I mean, I've been getting the same date repeatedly on different charts using the circle method. So I'm taking that as some valid confluence that, hey, there may be something we need to start paying attention to here. Gann knows a few things, more stuff than I know. And I just think it's something to pay attention to. Now, over here, we got 200 moving average at 627 billion. Now, could we get a pump in altcoins? I don't know. I mean, we got resistance here, and I've been real generous on this trend line, too. I have. So maybe if we tighten up our trend line, that gives us a little bit more room where we can come up and retest it. That would get us up to this 200 moving average. And that's always a great place to get rejected, especially the moving average is already telling us we got rejected here, baby. The 9 did not cross, and it's wanting to cross this bullet bearishly over this 21. There's some bearish signs here that just have not confirmed yet. And coming up here and doing something like that and coming down could confirm that. Now, I don't have this thing tuned, so I don't know if I can recreate any kind of chart idea. Yeah, that's it. That's it right here. This was it. It was this low to that high, so I would naturally be looking for a low, and we nailed a low down here with it, right? That was, again, August 5th, and then we come into August 8th. You notice that we're having this pattern is starting to develop where every month, almost to the day, there's a dump. And that's interesting. About a month and a day. So July to August 5th, that's 32 days, right? That's kind of interesting. Why is there a pattern developing with days between when markets meet their bottoms and stuff? 32 days there. Let's see, this was our bottom here. 31 days there. 32 from where I had my circle. It didn't quite nail that one, I don't think, but it nailed where we dropped, but it didn't nail the bottom. So, I could have been pulling from a different, I don't know. It's close enough that I'm going to pay attention to it. And now let me move these lines here, these little measure move lines. And let's get this bottom wick here, and let's see if we got anything here. Let's go from this very top right down there. Try to get it in as tight as I can. That's what's so tricky. So there's a little margin of error with this idea. That's suggesting that Sunday, interesting days for things to change, always is. Today being a Sunday too, so 1 week from now, very similar to what we saw on, I believe it was Bitcoin, wasn't it? Or maybe Caspa. Can't remember exactly, but if this one is going down to up, I mean, and what did you do over here? You didn't nail it. It could have nailed it. maybe there's some finagling that can be done here. But really close to that was a top. So hard to see, but there's another day, Sunday, October 13th is that area is coming. So we got this little window. I don't know if it's going to go up, then come down here, or just come down and go. I don't know. I don't know. But I judge my moving averages are saying that we're getting a rejection. So we are looking, a little bit bullish temporarily. So maybe come up. And then hurricane comes, and I don't know if we'll drop then or just start dropping, but it does give us this time frame down here, the 16th, to whatever happens, that might be the reversal period, whether we're going up or going down at that time. I think we're going to be coming down. That's what I'm looking for, and a disaster would definitely scare people. So, and there are various signs here. Overall, though, I'm still seeing some bullish signs. Ichimoku Cloud on all these things look like it still wants to take off. So it looks like, one of those scary moments that may be coming into the market this next week, last for about a week, and then we start taking off, and maybe October actually kicks into full effect. So that's the scenarios that I can see possibly playing out. Now, technically, a black swan event's one that nobody sees coming. So if I can see this as a possibility coming, it's not really technically a black swan event. I guess if you really want to break it down, get all semantical and technical about it, but I find it interesting, and I've just seen results from using these techniques before, and it's been mind-blowing. And it's not anything magical about me. It's just me being willing to test out some new theories and new things, and that's part about learning and growing as a trader and analyst is stepping out there once in a while. And again, I want to say I'm not trying to create fear in the market, but there's some signs here I think we need to take account of. So, and some of you might, if we get a drop to 52,000, it might wreck some of you guys. Well, it's on the table now, in my personal opinion. And if not to 52,000, then 55,000. And there may be an opportunity, if we have some foresight on this, to maybe plan. Maybe there's some shorts ideas. Maybe there's some risk management things that we want to start implementing. I'm starting to look at that. Maybe it's like take a little profits heavier between now and Tuesday. Also something that I'm looking at, because it really looks like we're going to get a sharp, heavier move down before we actually recover and start maybe making our way to the fun part of this bull market. So that's what I've got. Hopefully our microphone is on. We got some people here in the chat. Well, we got haven't had a whole lot of people here, maybe 4 people at the most. So this may not appeal to everyone, but I think it's worth sharing out there. AD says, got another hurricane heading right for me, bro. Man, I hope, be safe, man. I was kind of concerned about, with the ones headed right toward Live, or another YouTuber that goes in the morning. But I was kind of curious if he'd say anything on his stream, so I kind of ran through that, and he's thinking about going to back up north, and that's probably a smart idea because the one's headed right toward him. It sounds, I don't know, the hurricanes will probably be bad enough, and there's a lot of weather manipulation ideas out there too. I'm not going to dare call them conspiracies, because in this day and age we know that the things that have been labeled conspiracies have, oddly enough, turned out to have a lot of truth to them. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate about that, but shoot, the way this world's going. Slinda says BlackRock has a contract with the DoD for a lithium mine in North Carolina. They want those people out. And we got these kind of things actually being real. I mean, our country was founded so that the people would be in control. And along the way, and a lot of it had to do with bankers, financiers, getting off the gold standard, and then taking this new monetary system, this new debt-based system we got, and just running epping wild with it. And that's a lot of our problems. And now we've got banks and corporations that are really controlling our government. And we've got people in bureaucratic positions from these places. They interchange when they get out of government. They go to high-paying positions in these corporations, and even vice versa. And it's just it's a net of greed, and it only benefits those people. It's not benefiting America. America's got to take its country back, and we're real divided on this. Half the people look like, oh, we're doing just fine. We like it this way. We're safe. Government's going to take care of us. And then you got the other people saying, man, that's not what we started as. That was not the roadmap for America, is to let the government be in control. The roadmap was to limit government control, limit federal control, give the power to the states, give the power to the people. We have forgotten that. Now we look up to the almighty federal to just tell us everything to do, have all the answers, solve all the problems. Let's just give them all our money and let them take care of us. And that's wrong. It was never meant to be that way. Never, never, never. Our founding fathers would be rolling over in their graves. This is exactly what our founding fathers were warning against happening, is what's going on in our country now. And has been. It's been slowly developing over the last 50 years. It's been a slow process to dismantle this country. But now we're there. It's not something new. They didn't just decide it a few years ago. This has been a work in progress for well over 50 years, and maybe close damn near 100. So big that it makes you think, what kind of legacy system is that can expand and have that kind of life cycle that goes beyond our human lifespan to continue an agenda? That I find fascinating. That I find fascinating, because people, we change and evolve during our lives, and as we get older, we don't care about the same stuff. It's hard to imagine how any person or any family or any organization could stick to the same agenda. There's got to be something strong there, right? So if it's people, it's one hell of an organization or something that can stay regimented through centuries and decades, and that's an accomplishment. Or maybe it's something bigger. Maybe there's some bigger intelligence out there. I don't know. If you're religious, you would look to think of this as a spiritual warfare, good and evil, which it is. And even if you're very, very open-minded to the possibilities of this universe and all the things that God can do and have under his jurisdiction or his creative aspect. I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people could say it could be some kind of alien influence. Maybe aliens or angels and demons. Who knows the hierarchy of this universe? I don't know. God is so big that I just don't question. I just know that God is God, and that for some reason he likes us and he wants to be close to us. And so I do encourage people to foster a relationship with God. It's pretty easy. All you gotta do is just start talking to him and asking for help, and suddenly it's usually when you're at a rock bottom and you just got to give it all. You just got to give it all and say, I give up. I can't do this. And then you reach out and you just ask God for help. Hey, just guide me. Put me on the right path. That path will make itself apparent to you, and it's different for every person, I do believe. And I know there's differences in religions, and I follow the Christian religion. I didn't always. I got kind of way out there with some ideas and things, so I got a very interesting background as far as my philosophical and beliefs and stuff. But I didn't start out that way, and now I'm back. That's mine, but I don't necessarily think, I don't know. I do believe in Jesus' message and everything. But, I think God is so big that he makes a way. This wasn't supposed to go religious either, but I kind of ended up there. AD says, I've heard that too, Celinda. I've also heard a few tinfoil hats of how they do it. But I know science is amazing. Anything is impossible. We've got technology that they just have not been forthright with. How we got that would be another interesting story I would like to find out. I'm wondering if they are going to try to assassinate Trump again next week. I wouldn't put it past them. Oh, that's a cool icon. I'm sorry. Well, guys, that's the biggest thing. Unless you guys got any questions, and I'll give a time for the delay to catch up if you got any final comments. But I'll probably just wrap this up here. This is just supposed to be a little short stream just to go over these ideas, and I don't know. I'm not saying that this is a definite thing, but I've just seen this technique have such an effect, or have, it's had some results that's worth paying attention to. So Tuesday, October 8th, I don't know what's going to happen. I ain't trying to predict the future, but if show me the charts and tell me the news is true, and I've seen it happen so many times that I'm not going to doubt it. Something's going to happen, and I don't know if it's going to be a terrible, terrible disaster, if it's going to be the disaster itself, or it's just going to be how it's managed. I would suspect it's how it's being managed right now that's really going to have the effect. But you got to remember, this is going to affect a shit ton of stuff. This is going to select our supply train. What is that? What's the word I'm trying to come up with? Our supply train. This can have a big effect on that. It's going to have a huge effect, especially with the way that they're managing it. So we need to keep things in our prayers, keep people in our prayers, and keep our government in our prayers. But I've just got too many charts saying, man, Tuesday, October 8th, something's happening. And I hope I can come back here and we all say, Road Dogg, you suck. You just kind of got into that woo-woo stuff. There ain't nothing happened. We're good. We're going to 70,000. I hope so. But the charts are telling me something on many different ways, something different. So be careful and watch carefully. And maybe we have a few days up that we can take advantage of. Definitely not saying sell out now, but we might want to start taking a closer look at making sure we got some stop losses at a good point on these positions. I know I don't have that going on with my spot margin thing, and I probably will have to sit down today and start doing that, so that if we do take a dump, I don't go into that big old drawdown, because that sucks. I do not like seeing my portfolio dip 30-40%. That sucks. No, I don't want to ride her down. The goal is to keep that money and then buy cheaper if she starts doing something crazy like that, not just ride the roller coaster. So, and I think that it's something, if you got too many coins to manage, you're going to struggle with that. And I'm in that situation. It's not, if there's anything that I can suggest that you do not do during this thing, is getting too many coins, too many, having your capital spread out in too many places. It just dilutes it, and it will dilute your returns too. And I am suggestible to that. And I've been trying to work a dang plan for the last 3 months to consolidate and then start moving everything stronger projects. But we just been on a downtrend. The market has not cooperated. We're starting to show signs that we want to switch trend, and that's a good thing. So this next big dump, if we get one, I do think that would be a good buying opportunity, and that's what I'm looking for. Especially when they do it out of fear, and if it's true that possibly that we do come down, whether to these areas or down here, wherever, on whatever chart that we're on, there could be eventually maybe a V-shaped recovery coming back up. It could be cool. But not good for the people having to go through the disaster and the mismanagement. So my prayers and thoughts be with them, and those of you who don't even know that they're going to be a part of it. That's the sad thing. In a few days, some people's lives are going to change drastically, and that makes me sad. But it makes me sadder to have a government that's incompetent to help them and refusing to let them help themselves. That's criminal. That's purely criminal. Very cool ideas that you're showing today on Gann. And maybe there's something to it, but I've just seen it enough to. It's worth noting. Did I screw that up? Did I screw something? I did something wrong. I wish TradingView was a little bit more friendly to this idea of doing this, but maybe it's just me and how I'm applying it at this time. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully this has been helpful. Give you something to think about anyway and something to consider. And I don't know, in a few days we'll look back and we'll come back and see, well, how did this do? But nail it, Road Dog! I don't think I'm very proud about nailing anything like this that can have a bad effect on the market or people. I'm not crazy about that idea. Still, I mean, overall, in the bigger sense of things, I think we still look good on the larger time frames. I think we're still good, but it's going to be a crazy week is what I see. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see you tonight on the regular stream, and great to see new techniques. Yeah, I thought I'd like to share a little. I do lots of experimental stuff sometimes, and I don't always put it out. I like to put out the stuff that I know actually has good results. But it's always, I advise everybody to sharpen up their tools and try to learn something new, something you're not familiar with. Elliott wave or harmonic patterns or something that just seems kind of weird and headachy. Sometimes it's worth going down those rabbit holes. And I mean, I just came from Joe's stream. Joe's had a live stream, and Joe's been doing that. He's been diving into some, and refreshing and stuff. Now I can vouch for Joe because I've seen him trade or his posting and stuff from a trading group for over about 4 years now. So I'm familiar with how he teaches and instructs, and I think that's solid. And I'm just seeing him step up his game for what he's showing over there, showing some good alpha on his channel. Going over risk management techniques when you're using leverage and the right way to approach it with using the proper percentage of your portfolio and everything. Things that are just not talked about that need to be stressed more in this market, especially at this time. So it's always good. And it's evident when you're actually out there improving yourself and learning new things, you'll see an evolution. And, that's one thing to do when you're starting to look at people that you follow on YouTube. If they're not evolving themselves, I mean, they're stuck in their ways and probably in their own little echo chamber. And I do see that a lot. And you notice that, dang man, he just missed a fundamental concept. How did you not even? You should have learned? That should have been under your belt already. Why are you not? Why are you oblivious to it? Because I think people, we can, some personalities on YouTube, they'll get stuck in there. Well, I've got to figure it out, and they know everything they need to know. But I think I think that's a trap to fall into when it comes to trading. To think, well, I've already figured everything. I mean, I got a system I think is good. I think it works very reliable and very good. But it doesn't keep me from trying to improve it and figure out some other stuff. I mean, oh my gosh, Gann figured this crap out. He solved the market. He did, and he took it to his grave. I don't know if there's any person on earth that actually knows his secrets. Maybe somebody in his family. I don't know. But the man figured out how to nail price and time. He forecasted. And not only the stock market, but he also somehow forecasted wars and some other upcoming events with his method. So there's something to whatever he's been on to. All right, that's it for me, guys. I'll see you tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Let me check the chat one last time. We're clear. All right. Good night, or good day, everybody. Have a good Sunday.